right. So I'm going to start my story I was about 12 or 13 years old. So my whole teen years, I never had a girlfriend until I was 16 years old. And about 12 or 13 years old, I was the tallest kid in my school. Nobody paid much attention to me, didn't have any girls that would give me the time of day. And I started a prayer, and that prayer was to send me the girl that I'm going to spend the rest of my life with, and I'm going to marry. And I prayed that for a couple of years. I had got my first job, and my boss turned out to be my mother-in-law later on. And I was 16 years old, and I had a girl that paid attention to me, and I kept praying that prayer and hoping something good would come out of it. We started dating the summer of our junior year. We got engaged Christmas Eve of our senior year. We dated for almost 2 years. We graduated in June. We got married in August, and that was almost 18 years ago. I grew up in the church my whole life. We went to the Nazarene church when I was a teenager. Went to church because that's what my family did. I got to about 16, got a car, and I got a job, and I stopped going to church on Sundays. We didn't have a youth group because we didn't have enough kids in our thing to do anything on Wednesday night. So I fell away from church at about 16 years old. I stopped going, and I thought I could do it myself. Thought it was all, it was my problem to be taken care of. 2 years after we had our first child, 2 years after that we had our second child. We'd struggled, both financially, spiritually, and within our marriage between the two of us. So I was laid off for about 4 months. I had no job. We didn't have money to pay the rent. Didn't have money to pay bills. We moved out of our apartment on the day the rent was due because we didn't have any money. We had our last paycheck. And it was at that point in my life, I was 28 years old. I'd fallen away from the church for a good 10 years. So I was 28 years old. I had no job. Had a few $100 to our name, and I had to go look for another job. And it was at that point that I realized something. I needed something different. I needed help. We had all our stuff in storage. We were sitting on lawn chairs in our front room. We had what we just had to get us by, and I made a deal. I made a deal with God to say, please help me to find a job, something I can do, something that pays the bills, and I will go back to church. And that was a prayer I kept praying because I didn't know what to do. I was at the bottom of the pile, you could say. That was a tough time that month where I didn't have a job. and trying to pay for everything. And I found a job, and it was a struggle because I had to get back on my feet, and it was a lot of prayer. I started going to church that month. So ever since I was about 28, we started going back to church. It has still been a struggle, but He has never let us go without. Prayer is a big thing, especially when you got 3 kids and you gotta be able to provide for them.